In 2022, I ran a sub 3 hour marathon. I ran it in 2:58:45, and it was actually after I ran my first official 100-mile race. So I had done 100 miles before an official marathon. And there's a couple of factors that stood out that really helped me run the sub 3 hour marathon. And this is something that can help you with any PR when it comes to marathon distance or maybe other races as well. And right off the bat, I'll just give them to you so you don't have to stick around if you don't want to, but stick around if you want to hear my full explanation. Is I did not strength train my legs as far as weights, and I'm going to get more into that. And I did not worry about pace except for 2 days of the week, 2 key workouts. So there's a lot of different methodologies when it comes to running a marathon, and I'm by no means like perfect. Like I'm not the fastest guy in the world when it comes to marathon distance. But there's some things I want to point out that I found was very successful for me, and I was actually running 7 days a week and still lifting. I just wasn't doing much strength training for my legs. And so let's talk about these main factors. There's a lot of things that go into marathon prep, but I think these things will definitely help you and are some key factors. So first thing, I did still do strength training, but I did not lift heavy for my legs. When I did weights, I did a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It was the same workout every time. And I would do low weight, high rep workouts with shorter breaks in between because I was trying to keep it in that low aerobic zone, but for a prolonged period of time. So I did like bench press with dumbbells and shoulder presses and some, just a bunch of different like machine stuff. And then I would do some core at the end, but I would never lift for my legs. What I did that did help with my strength, or at least my endurance or being able to stay injury free when it came to my legs, was 100 to 200 calf raises per night, every single night. So I didn't want to lift heavy with my legs because I didn't want to take away from my speed work, which I'm going to get into in a minute. But I did calf raises because it was just super light. I weigh 160 pounds, so that's enough weight as is. And I would just do these calf raises pretty fast in full range of motion as best as possible. And I found that this was helpful in just keeping things at least maintained, because I lift heavy when I'm not doing marathon work or speed work because I'm an ultra guy. So I really like that strength, but I didn't want it to take away from my tempo workouts. And that leads me to my second thing. So I was running 7 days a week, and I would not worry about my pace or how fast I was going for the majority of my runs. There were 2 runs a week that I would focus on, and we can talk about some of those workouts. But for me, I wanted to keep my heart rate pretty low on my easy days when I wasn't doing tempo workouts because I wanted to be able to give my all for the tempo workouts and the fast-paced days. I wanted to be able to get the most out of that. And if you're running based off of pace on the days you're not running tempo, and that pace pushes you into a higher heart rate, you're taking away from your potential the next day, or at least fatiguing yourself more than you might think you are. So I'm a big believer in Zone 2 work, and that's something I've made videos on, or you could just Google or find a YouTube video on heart rate zones and Zone 2 training. So on the days I wasn't doing tempo workouts, sometimes they were 11-minute miles, sometimes I was walking, and I was okay with that because I was able to I was still getting volume, but I was still able to get the most out of my tempo days. And so the 2 key workouts I did were super simple. On Tempo Tuesdays, so my one of the 2 key workouts for marathon training, I would run at race pace for a couple miles, and as the season progressed, I would build up on this. So I do something like 2 miles at a warm-up pace, 8-minute miles, and then I would do like 2 miles at race pace, 650-minute miles, and then 2 miles cool down. Or as I built more, I would do like 2 miles warm up and then 6 miles at race pace and then 2 miles cool down. Or sometimes I do like a 3 miles at race pace, a mile recovery, and then 2 miles at race pace. And so this was really big, and because I wasn't lifting heavy on my legs, I was able to get the most out of this workout. And then on Saturdays, this was really valuable and really important, is during my long runs, I would do a lot of kind of intervals, but longer intervals. So not like track 400-meter intervals, but I would like warm up for 5 miles. I might be doing like a 17-mile run, and I'd warm up for 5 miles, and I'd do like 4 miles at race pace, a mile recovery, 3 miles at race pace, a mile recovery, 2 miles at race pace and cool down for the remainder of the long run. And obviously this progressed as time went on, but this got me very comfortable running at race pace and getting this comfortability, and obviously getting faster as the season went along. And I did this on the race course, which was really nice. I know not everyone is at the area they're running a marathon, but I am. I ran in the St. George Marathon, and so I live in St. George. I was able to do the course pretty much every weekend. And this would change and I'd do more miles at race pace as the season progressed. And one of the big workouts I did a couple weeks out from the race was I think it was like a 20-mile long run, and I did like 12 miles at race pace straight, so basically a half marathon. Now, a big thing to keep in mind with this is you're basically racing when you do long runs like this, and so you want to make sure you recover properly, or if you're really not feeling it, don't overdo it and just hit out hard the next weekend, because you could definitely really beat yourself up if you're basically racing every Saturday. So building into it, warming up, and being cautious about how often you do that. But for me, this particular season, I was able to do that pretty much every weekend. So the other days I was running, besides Tuesdays and Saturdays, I did not care about pace at all. I might walk some miles. Some of my miles are probably 12-minute miles, because I just wanted to make sure I was getting volume to keep up with the base. But I didn't want to take away from these key workouts. And I feel like these two big things, still doing strength training, but only calf raises for my legs, and then only 2 runs a week that I really was concerned about my pace and not worrying about my pace the other days, was super helpful. And of course, on race day, it seemed to work out. Running that 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 45-second marathon qualified me for Boston, but unfortunately, they made the time, like when we got closer to the Boston Marathon, they made the qualification time a lot faster. So I didn't, I'm not going to Boston. I'll do that at some point. I'm going to train for a 2 hour, 45-minute marathon this year, sub 2:45. But yeah, those were things that really helped me, and I think that's valuable for anyone who doesn't really know where to start when it comes to trying to PR for a race. My name's Reese Jones. If you like running tips and tricks, stories, mindset things, stuff like that, I post regular content. I'm really on a mission to help people become fitter, faster, and get through their injuries or avoid injuries completely. So if you like that stuff, hit that subscribe button. If not, totally get it. That's fine too. I appreciate your time anyways. I know it's valuable, and I hope to see you in another video sometime soon. Peace.